Well, here we go again. It's budget deck time, and this time you have all voted to cover the Lightning Mistress herself, Lexi. For the past week I've been trying various builds for Lightning Ice and Hybrid. Fully upgraded list will be available on my Patreon sometime this weekend or early next week, so keep an eye out for that if you are a patron. But that's not what we are here for, are we? We are here to beat cheapskates. So the deck I will cover today, is it good? Yes. Is it top tier? Probably not. But that doesn't stop us now, does it, from stealing some free wins at our local armory events, even janking our way to the very top and snatching that qualified prize away from all the other people. How, you ask? Very simple. Frazzle. This little gem of a card has a very specific effect. If you fuse it, all your damage sources will deal an additional damage. And this, my friends, is utterly broken. You may be asking yourself, but Kugane, how can one damage be that much? Well, what if I told you that Lexi has a way to deal multiple sources of damage? Or even better, that you can stack these damage buffs? We'll take a good look at this card right here. Light it up. Not only does this card deal a respectable damage on its own, but if you fuse it, this can really get out of hand because you will be dealing 1 damage for every single equipment your opponent owns. So if you fire this off early on in the game, you will be dealing 4 separate sources of damage. Combine that with the Frazzle from earlier on and boom, your Light It Up just became an A damage nuke on top of its physical damage. But why stop there? Why not just one-shot the opponent? Oh yes, introducing to you all Ball Lightning. All you need to do is somehow get one of these things in your arsenal together with the Frazzle, and the fun begins. Simply start by using Lexi to flip over the Ball Lightning, granting your next attack go again. Now you can activate your hood, which allows you to put the Ball Lightning back into your hand and put the Frazzle into your arsenal. And then fire off your Frazzle, of course fusing it so that you get that awesome until end of turn effect. Follow it up with the Ball Lightning, and remember you are now dealing 2 additional damage, so your opponent's likely gonna block this thing by now anyways. And now comes the big trick. At instant speed, you activate your Shiver, you slap that Light It Up into the arsenal, and you just fire it straight into your opponent's face. Now after fuse it, just put a lightning press on top of this, and they will go somewhere along the lines of, how much damage does that deal? And you can simply tell them all the damage, because if this thing connects, we will be pretty much reenacting that one scene in Jurassic Park. You know, the one where they're climbing the electric fence, except it won't end well for your opponent because you'll be dealing a whopping 12 damage on top of the 7 dominate damage. Actually 9 damage because you still get the additional 2 damage on the dominate effect as well.
Now that's a lot of damage!
But why stop there? Let's activate our brace as well at it, adding yet another source of 3 damage. Shortly, the deck is absolutely busted. Is it consistent? No, but boy does it make Kano players cry. And let's be honest here, between ignoring all the strategy this lovely game has to offer and making a Kano cry, pretty sure we're doing the world a favor here. Of course, when it comes to making Kanos cry, if you have the money, investing into something like a Heart of Ice would make the tears extra salty, because every single Kano activation will cost 1 additional if you activate it early on in the turn. So Kano will cost 4, Crucible will cost 2, their boots will cost 2. It's absolutely glorious. But yeah, getting an expensive piece like that is probably not the reason why you've clicked on this video. So let's get into this $30 deck tech video, and I will tell you all the cards you need to get so that you can start playing this magnificent deck yourself. Alright, to get started, get yourself a Blitz starter deck. These decks actually contain a significant amount of cards that we will be using in the deck today, and the cards you want to keep in this deck are the following. Of course, the Lexi hero itself, Deep Blue, Honing Hood, Mark of Lightning, Shiver, Electrify, Frazzle, Lightning Press, Overflex, Take Aim, Weave Lightning, Burst Bolt, Amulet of Lightning, and Winter's Bite. Next up, you need to get yourself a couple of the following cards. So first of all, as far as equipment goes, you always need a little bit of null rune equipment, so get yourself a Bullseye Braces, Null Rune Hood, Null Rune Robe, and a Snapdragon Scaleless. The Snapdragon Scales are especially convenient so that you can give your Frazzle go again in a big turn with it lighted up. And for the other cards, I'm going to be mostly naming rares and commons here. However, there are a couple Majestics in here that are sitting around the $3 to $4 mark right now. So it should be relatively easy for you to pick these up and still stick under that $30 mark if you buy the starter deck. So you need to get yourself 4 copies of Ball Lightning, 2 red ones and 2 blue ones, 2 copies of Boss Bolt, 2 copies of Ice Storm, this is one of the Majestics, 1 Lightning Press, 2 copies of Nimblism, 1 Pulse of Volthaven, 1 Take Aim, 2 copies of Weave Ice, 1 copy of Weave Lightning, 2 copies of Lighted Up, the star of the deck, 1 copy of Frazzle Blue, and finally 2 copies of Heaven's Claws. If Pulse of Volthaven does get a bit too expensive, you can also opt to get a cheaper alternative. An Invigorate is definitely something you can put in here, also in the slots that the Ice Storm is taking up right now. So there are some other alternatives if you want to really go into ultra budget with this deck. Alright, and with that said, you probably have all the cards to start playing this deck optimally. Do keep in mind, we have some very nice affiliate links down in the description, and if you want to help me out, you can even go ahead and order your cards on one of those websites. But yes, so of course in the beginning of the video when I explained the combo, I'm talking about the best case scenario. But as you have noticed from all the upgrades, we have a significant amount of buff spells in this deck that allows your arrows to attack in for a ridiculous amount of damage. Most of the time you don't even need to fuse, to be honest. Like, it's perfectly viable to put like a couple of +3 effects onto the field, loading up an arrow and shooting that onto the opponent with Dominate. Especially in the first turn, if you do not have your combo fully set up, it's sometimes kind of an idea to get in some chip damage right away, maybe force them to block with some of the equipment, and that will give you a huge advantage from the get-go. Because keep in mind, like, if you can get like 2 proper dominated turns off in a row, that will pretty much win you the game as well. So you don't even really need the big combo, but it's very nice that it's in here. And I guess that brings us to the end of the video. If this deck tag was useful, please let me know if you've tried it out. Let me know down in the comments if you played something similar, and also let me know like which deck you would like me to cover in the future. I am very happy with this deck. I've been playing it at quite a lot of events. Of course, I have a slightly more optimized build that runs stuff like New Horizon, which gives me a bit of flexibility to put stuff into my arsenal and waiting a couple of turns until I have like the perfect hand to attack in. The deck was not really working for me in the constructed format, so I will likely have to do a meta-analysis video like I did previously, where I go over all the decks that are in the meta right now and what I think which decks are going to be good and which ones are not. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You would do me a huge favor by hitting the like button. It's just a small effort, but in a world where all the algorithm stuff helps, it's a huge help if you can help me out with that. So just leave a comment down below, and I will see you all soon with the next video. Go slaughter some people at the armories, and yeah, go have fun. Take care.